Hello and welcome back to the port. I'm the Gav Major and this is Admiralty Reports. Admiralty Reports is your gameplay submissions with my commentary, and today we have a submission from Eternal Abyss, who is playing in the Pan-European Tier 6 destroyer Orkan. Now this is a Tier 5-6 game of Capture the Base on Two Brothers. However, there is a Tier 4 on the enemy team due to a failed division. On the enemy team, we have a Fubuki, an Akatsuki, a Z39, a Benson, Fair Attacker in the division with a Lagazianaire, King George V, and a Ranger. On the friendly team, we have a Fubuki, a Mahan, Eternal Abyss in the Orkan. He's in a division with a friendly Akatsuki. Then there's another Akatsuki, a Bedoini, a Warspite, a KG5, and a Ranger. Being spotted up ahead is the Fair Attacker and the Lagazianaire, so we know the division are working together. So we're getting our first volley of torpedoes away with the Orkan. Now the Orkan does have quite quick reload time for her torpedoes, considering she only has the one launcher. It's kind of a nice little benefit she gets here. Now I'm going to assume that Eternal Abyss and Next Zero Gamer are working together in a party chat because Next Zero starts laying down a nice smoke screen here, enabling Eternal Abyss in the Orkan to take advantage of the smoke screen, because obviously the Orkan doesn't come with a smoke screen. And also looking over the command build, it seems that the command build chosen by Eternal Abyss is in order to take advantage of working with a stealthier destroyer. Therefore he's not so concerned with concealment and more concerned with his DPM and capability to engage enemy ships and destroyers. Fair Attacker is probably finding himself a little bit out of his depth. Also spotted behind the Fair Attacker is the enemy King George V. Also we have an enemy Akatsuki as they're trying to dodge these torpedoes. They seem to be doing a reasonable job. And the General's just piling on the pain, taking advantage of whatever he can see really. Looks like the Ranger's also working this flank, judging by the presence of enemy aircraft, so should be alright to engage with that, because the Orkan does have a slightly improved anti-aircraft capability. Killing the Fair Attacker for first blood and switching to the enemy Akatsuki with his radar turned on. A nice little advantage with the Orkan. She does have that 9-kilometer radar, however it is quite a short duration. Enemy torpedoes coming in, but having just quickly checked that they're going to be passing out the side because it is a widespread, getting away with that. Getting himself his second kill on the Fubuki quite nicely. So we've got the KG5, we've also got a Benson and a Lagazianaire over here, as well as the aircraft from the Ranger working this sector over. So the Benson is seems to be making a dash for the Akatsuki's smokescreen, and even laying his own. Now I'm going to be spotted for most of this time because of the aircraft overhead down that Benson, so that is going to put Eternal into a bit of a dangerous scenario, I guess you could say. However, he's working with his friendly division mate in the Akatsuki, so their combined anti-aircraft capability, though the Akatsuki doesn't bring much to the table, it's better than nothing, I guess you can say, and they should be able to work it over. Benson's torpedoes passing to his bow, but able to avoid those. Now only firing 2 torpedoes from his launcher here, and in the email he does explain why he does this. Because the Orkan only has a single launcher, what he does is he takes advantage of that single fire capability that the Orkan comes with on those torpedoes, and what he's done is he's fired off 2 torpedoes and he's hoping that if they do get hit he might force a flood. Unfortunately he doesn't, quickly switching to Benson and knocking her out of the game. So we haven't been able to force a flood on the KG5 unfortunately, so doesn't look like the KG5 is damaged con, so we're going to fire 1 torpedo, keeping 1 in the tube, and then maybe we can force a flood after that. Switching to AP and aiming for the upper arm bout / superstructure of the KG5. One of the downsides of those British battleships is they do have that large superstructure, which can mean it can be farmed by a small caliber AP. KG5 is down to about 5,000 HP. It looks like that first torpedo is found its mark, very nice, and securing himself kill number 4. Now we have an enemy Ranger up ahead. Looks like the enemy Lagazianaire is long gone as well. Now with the American carriers, they have great big citadels, quite a lot of it above water. So when you have this kind of like low caliber armor piercing, it's just going to find its way straight through the armor and start working into that citadel. And already we're just racking up those citadels against the Ranger, and she should be out of the game very quickly. So if you're in a destroyer and you're in that kind of situation against American carrier, you can really take advantage of really raking those citadels. In fact, looking at it, he's managed to get 12 citadels up to this point in the game. Most of those were against the Ranger. I think he did get 1 or 2 against the Fair Attacker early on. Now engaging the Fubuki, however, enemy dive bombers overhead. Here they come the bombs. There goes a huge chunk of his HP. I think you're looking at about 5,000 of his HP dissipated due to the enemy dive bombers. Engaged into Fubuki, unfortunately only able to use the 2 front turrets as wide turret is currently incapacitated along the engine. And the damage con is going to slowly tick over. Managed to get himself Confederate there as well. Here comes more bombs though, and the Ranger is able to knock out Eternal there. So, while we spectate the remainder of the game, what has he done? Well, ship modules, he, as always, down in the description, but he's taken Aim Systems Module 1, Propulsion Module 2, and Concealment Systems Module 1. Practically what I'd call a standard destroyer build. Whether under the current scenario with carriers being slightly more current, whether you want to go for AA guns Module 1, it's debatable because obviously if you improve your AA range, you're potentially increasing your detectability to those aircraft. Now, commanders wise, of course, it's Świrski, level 15, legendary 2. And this is where the traits, a very interesting selection of traits, mostly focusing on the guns. Observant range, Mortar, 1,000 cuts, cloudy days, and unstoppable. Highly recommend unstoppable. Inspirations, we've got Bay, level 16, legendary 2, and Blue Furion, level 14, legendary 2. The reason being is he feels that the Orkan's a little bit slow, kind of have to agree with him, and taking Blue Furion obviously does give it some more speed. Well, that's the end of the game, so let's take a look at those end scores. So here we are at the end screen, and Eternal Abyss has managed to get himself 106,000 damage from 135 hits on target and 3 torpedoes, getting 8 fires, 1 flooding, 12 citadels, scoring himself 5 kills, shooting down 7 aircraft, and even getting 3 hits with his secondary gun. As you know, on the Orkan, one of the torpedo launchers was replaced with a 4-inch anti-aircraft gun, which is also classified as a secondary. Get himself Kraken Unleashed, Confederate, First Blood, and High Caliber. Going on to the team screens, and of course he's come top of his team with 2,607 ship XP. Next best player on the team was the Akatsuki. This game was very much a destroyer brawl, and Eternal Abyss's team managed to pretty much roll over the enemy team, only losing 2 ships, and that being their 1st and 4th player. Going on to the economy screen, and he's been able to walk away with 527,000 credits, and that's simply with just a premium account. Ship service cost in this case is only 75,000 credits, which is quite surprising. That's a little bit less than I would initially expect. However, or fair, I guess you could say, and it's managed to walk away with a decent profit at the end of the day. Well, if you have enjoyed it, feel free to give it a thumbs up. And if you enjoy this content, feel free to subscribe. Down in the description, command build, modules, email address for the channel if you want to send any of your own Kraken gameplays, along with a link to Patreon if you want to support the channel on Patreon, as it is a non-monetized channel. Until next time, I'm the Gallop Major, and back to the port.
Hey, hey, clear the way, here comes the Galloping Major. Bumpity, 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 bump. Get out of the way there, you fellows, unless you want me to run you down. I guess this is the life. Now, hey, hey, clear the way, here comes the Galloping